So recently I did a huge wardrobe clean out, and one of the things that came out of that is that I had a huge pile of clothes that needed to be fixed in some way or resized or just refashioned. And so we're going to be tackling it today. The pile behind me is what I was hoping to start off with. These are all the things that just need some very quick, easy fixes. So yeah, let's just dive into it. This first skirt is something I made years ago, and it doesn't quite fit anymore. Luckily it's a wrap skirt, so all I have to do is just move the button slightly over to make it fit again. And after trying it on, I've just marked where I want the button to go, and now I just need to hand sew it back on. Yeah, I really hate hand sewing. I don't know what it is about it. Like, I think maybe the fact that it's so fiddly and I can never get it quite right. It's just, yeah, it's not my favorite thing to do. But with things like buttons, I guess there's no other way to sew them on. And I guess another thing that's been annoying me about the skirt is that this sort of like waistband bit that's meant to stay invisible, it's just kind of like flying around by itself. But I think what I'm going to do is just make a couple of stitches sort of on the edge to try and secure that. For these pants, I just wanted to remove these belt loop things. I don't really wear belts, but even if I did, some of these are really small, so that limits my options a bit. Okay, I think I'm done. It was quite nice to sort of get these two very easy things out of the way. This next item on my list is this dress I thrifted. It's pretty cute for a casual, hot summer's day, but I think that really baggy shift dresses just don't look that great on me, so I wanted to see if I can make it slightly more fitted. Okay, so I think for this one, we're just gonna aim to get rid of like this hospital type gown look. I'm not looking for a big change, so I'm just gonna make a dart coming along here, just a bit of tapering at the waist. Now marking the start of the dart where my shoulder starts to taper in, and then my waist, and then the start of my hip where the dart should end. I've done this in a very rough way because I'm not expecting it to be form-fitting, just a very subtle change on how the silhouette looks at the back. Now I'm just connecting the 3 dots I marked earlier, and then copying it over to the other shoulder, making sure that it's in the same position from the top and the side of the dress. I first pinned the waist where the dart takes in the most fabric, and now I'm tapering the amount of fabric I'm pinning towards the 2 ends of the dart. Okay, let's try this on. So I think I am quite happy with this, except it is sort of puckering at the bottom there. So this is almost impossible to see, but I think I can just make this end sort of end a lot smoother rather than sort of going sharply inside. And this next skirt is also thrifted. It's really well made, but it's just a bit too big on me, so my main task is to make it smaller. I am also pretty tempted to make it shorter, but I'm not too sure because I don't really want to get rid of these stripes at the bottom. I don't need to take in the skirt too much. I wanted to try and see if I can get away with just moving these clasps over and having a kind of extra large pleat. I really don't want to cut the skirt up any more than I have to. And I've gone ahead and marked the spot where I can fold the skirt to so that it blends in with the existing pleats.
So yeah, I'm a bit conflicted about cutting the skirt now. I wanted it to be a bit shorter, sort of like a tennis skirt type length, but now I'm a bit conflicted because the stripes are quite low on the skirt itself and I don't want to lose them. And I also looked up the brand and it looks like they make kilts. And I don't think this is an actual kilt, but it's vintage and it's a pretty special piece. So I think I might keep it and see if I can style it. This is done. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my progress so far. I have about 3 projects that probably might take slightly longer time than what I've just been doing. So I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do next. But before that, let's grab a coffee.
I'm toying with a new kind of format here where this is a bit more of a traditional vlog rather than just purely sewing. Let me know if you're into this kind of format or if you're just here for the sewing.
Okay, welcome back. So I got my coffee, I got a little marshmallow, and I'm ready to continue on. So I think like out of the 3 projects that I really want to get done today, 2 of them are like relatively high stakes. I really want them to work out. So I'm gonna start off with the most sort of low effort, low stakes, if it turns out badly, I don't really care that much, project. And then yeah, basically ease my way into the rest. Yeah, so I made these like sugar-free marshmallows the other day and they taste like the real thing. It's amazing. It's like a source of protein. Yeah, I'm really happy with this.
So I've had this top for a while and I never really wore it. I do really like this pattern, so I thought it'd be easy enough to just turn it into a skirt as I feel like I'd wear that more.
Okay, so I think to start I'm just gonna sort of sew across like this and see what happens. This, I think I might let it out slightly at the top here so that it's less tight on me. I think the side just needs a little bit of a redo because it looks like I've sort of dipped in into my hips, so now my hip dips are accentuated. But otherwise I think this is pretty cute.
So I'm not making a huge adjustment here, just maybe adding an extra 1.5 centimeters from where I first sewed. I was pretty happy when I tried it on, so now I'm cutting the excess off. I'm also turning this waistband bit in and securing it on the sides. And finally just a zigzag stitch to finish the edges. This next item is the skirt I thrifted. The waistband is falling off and it's also pretty big, but I absolutely love the pattern. So basically what I'm trying to figure out is how to fasten it. I think if I do make it quite tight around the waist, I will need to add a zip. My original idea for it is to do like a sort of wrap skirt thing detail,
but I'm actually not sure whether this is going to work because I don't think there's just enough material for it to be a wrap skirt.
So I guess the first thing we need to do is to take the skirt apart and see what we have to work with. I'm first taking the waistband off and then undoing one side of the skirt.
Okay, I've decided I'm gonna do a wrap, and I'm basically gonna try and attach a ribbon to this side and to this side and then kind of tie it up on the edge.
I didn't have any matching ribbon, so for now I'm just hemming this side of the skirt. Before we get back to finishing the skirt, let's just move on to the last item I'll be altering in this video. So I've had the idea of turning this top into this kind of ganni inspired top. This kind of style seems to be a trend at the moment, and I thought refashioning something I already own would be a good way to try it out. The first thing I'm doing is cutting out a strip of fabric from the middle that will be used for the bows. I'm hoping to maybe make 2 or 3 bows out of the strip. It's impossible to see here, but I have some string attached to a safety pin that I'll use to turn this strap inside out. And I'm sewing the strap closed, trying my best to not sew over the string. And to turn this inside out, we want to sort of push the safety pin inside and use it as a guide to put that side of the strap in. I hope this makes sense, but to be honest, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, and I'm really trusting the process that it all works out.
There's a few holes here and there, but we can work this.
And now we're repeating this process with the second strap. And next I'm hemming this middle section of the top. I didn't really have enough material for the last bow, but I think this top would look best with 3. So I'm going to try and fashion the third bow from the scraps. I really don't want to have to cut more from this top. And lastly, I'm attaching each bow to both sides of the top. And now back to the skirt. It's been about a week and I've brought the right ribbon. I thought this would be a very easy quick fix, but I was wrong. As you can see here, I'm pinning the entire ribbon over the waistband, which isn't correct. And for some reason I didn't think to check this before I started sewing. And yep, this isn't enough ribbon. So back to the drawing board, I guess. I then realized that I can use this ribbon in the same way as I did for the striped skirt. The ribbon is only attached on the side and then also a bit on one section of the skirt. So we're going to attach one half of the ribbon to one side of the skirt, leaving enough ribbon on the outside to be able to tie into a bow. I'm starting to first hem the side of the skirt without the ribbon, and then putting the ribbon on underneath on one section of the skirt. Then I'm seam roping the spot where I want my second half of the ribbon to emerge from, making sure that it's about an inch from the top of the skirt. And after checking that the ribbon shows up on the right side, I'm sewing it inside and adding an extra zigzag stitch to secure it. Finally, I'm folding over the ribbon to create a kind of waistband, so now that the ribbon is facing the right way outside. And I'm securing this with some stitches on the edge of the skirt. But this waistband was still not very secure when I tried it on, so I tried to do a stitch along the top to keep it down. And this also didn't seem to work very well. I did end up finding this fabric tape, a bit too late might I add, but at least we've now got it. I was a bit scared of ironing velvet, but it seems to hold up pretty well. And now it's finally time for the grand reveal of everything we've made. First up, I can button the skirt up again and can now comfortably wear it outside without the risk of it unraveling. I'm so excited to wear this again. Even though it's not perfect, it's still super cute and unique, and I'm always nostalgic because it's one of the first items I've ever made. These pants haven't changed too much, but I think removing the belt loops is definitely an improvement, and it makes these pants look a lot tidier and more complete. And next we have the skirt that was a bit too big on me. The fix isn't 100% perfect, but it's still comfortable for me, and I've avoided having to completely reconstruct it. I'm excited to see what outfits I can make with it, but maybe not with this top. And I'm really happy with how this dress turned out. It's still a very relaxed and loose fit, but it's slightly more flattering, and I don't get the hospital gown vibes with the back anymore, which is a big plus. I can definitely see this dress being a staple for me for the rest of summer. Next, the skirt turned out super cute as well. I tried to use fabric tape to secure the waistband, but it ended up scrunching weird in some places. But still, I think it works a lot better as a skirt than a top, and I think it looks great as a very casual piece. Up next is the ganni inspired top. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the bow on the bottom, it just looks a bit too small, so I might remove it and keep this top as a beach cover up with just the 2 bows at the top. I'm not super convinced by this top, but I do think my fixes make it a bit cuter and more unique. Maybe it's just my execution that needs a bit more tweaking. And finally, this maxi skirt. In hindsight, it would have been so much easier to just cut the excess fabric and add an elastic band, but I think the ribbon detail ended up looking really cool, and the draping effect just adds to the drama of the skirt. I'm so excited to style this. And that's it from me for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you later.